Atheist Nomads episode 298, Vladimir's Church, Part 1.
The podcast you're about to listen to includes cursing and talking about hoo-haws. Please be advised.
Atheist Nomads episode 298. I am Dustin. Joining me is Lauren.
Hello!
We have Aaron.
I'm back.
And Casey.
I'm back as well.
Hello!
Hi.
Hi.
We just discovered that there's a tab on our Facebook page for playlists. It is currently empty.
Oh. That's probably because I did. So that's probably something they added after they created the podcast category. But when I switched to that wasn't available. So I guess now I'm going to have to spend some time on the Facebook page. Damn it, I hate Facebook.
Figure that out.
It's okay to hate it, but for business purposes, it's a very useful
Gotta spend
tool.
time on it.
Exactly. Oh,
And,
hi.
Shout out to Cody Connolly for pointing that out.
Yeah, Cody.
What's up, Cody?
If you click on it on our show, it says to be implemented. So either it's because Dustin hasn't implemented yet, or it's because Facebook hasn't implemented yet, and this is a placeholder. You having fun over there, Aaron?
Well, your child is like deep diving in. It's great.
If there
She,
is
like,
loose skin that meets in any cleavage-like pattern,
Yeah.
she will delve that little hand right into it.
Well, no, she also stuck her face right in it too.
Yeah,
Oh,
she'll do
little,
that.
little motorboating action.
She'll open her mouth really wide, go and just face plant.
She's like, I don't discriminate against which boobs.
No,
All right, let's go ahead and jump into Dustin off the degree.
it's
do
mostly
it.
for comfort anyway. So she's not.
Yeah,
like
for
she's-
real. It's yeah, I know.
It's not real. it's a real shallow relationship.
Well, guys can get like fake boobs for like jack off purposes. Maybe I should just get one for weaning purposes.
Yeah, comfort purposes.
Like, here
yeah.
you go, sweetie. Here's a fake
Here,
boob.
play
for
with
you.
that.
Right.
Play
She
with
also
this.
really likes my necklace too, because
The
she can
necklace
put her.
is super distracting. I'm
put her
surprised she
finger
hasn't
through
tried to
it.
yank it off of you yet.
Oh, because
So Vladimir.
Yes,
Let's
Dustin off
do
the
this.
degree. So Vladimir's Church, Part 1, Vikings to Mongols.
To clarify, this was going to be a single episode thing, and I convinced him to, or he convinced himself.
Yeah,
that
it's going to go way too long.
What was it? Is it Russian Orthodox?
Russian Orthodox Church within the confines of Russia.
It was going to take way too long.
It's 1,000 years of history.
In the
A
meantime,
lot.
keep an eye out for
Yeah.
his new podcast,
1,000 years of history.
his theology history.
yeah.
Send us money if you support that idea.
I mean,
Support
send us
the
money
drip.
anyway.
So,
Yeah, definitely send us money. I mean,
Venmo at Casey Haunt.
all right, so we're going to talk about the origin of the Russian Orthodox Church at the point before it was actually the Russian Orthodox Church. Really, before there was even a Russia. The organization that it became is not to be confused with the Orthodox Church in America or the Russian Orthodox Church outside of Russia, both of which have headquarters in New York. It's also worth noting that the Russian Orthodox Church has not been in communion with the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople since 2015-2018, so it's not a good...
wait, 2015 or 2018?
October 15, 2018.
Oh. I'm listening.
So it's not actually...
We're totally listening.
We're totally
started.
got this.
But we're going to get into the modern stuff much later. Since right now we're going to talk about the origins, and this all goes back to 750 CE, the 750s CE.
Oh, the 750s. What a great time.
Vikings began to settle in the Volga River region of Eastern Europe. They were known as the Vangarians, a term of Greek origin, and also as the Rus. So then over the next century, they helped facilitate trade across that region with the Byzantine Empire. They also served as mercenaries for the empire, including as the Vanagarian Guard for the emperor himself.
Ooh, that sounds cool. That sounds like maybe a series of books could be made about it.
I'm sure there is. Let's do a romantic history.
Oh, God.
Now, what's funny is
He lowered his
Byzantine-
Vanagarian loincloth.
the Byzantine emperor had the Vanagarian Guard of Viking warriors, while the Pope has the Swiss Guard,
Who are not Swiss.
who are not Swiss.
Okay.
Why are they called Swiss?
History.
Because They're called
because they're holy.
Good one, Lauren. I love when Lauren cracks herself
Lauren
up.
is
So good.
rolling on this couch.
I like how unamused Dustin is. Every time he's like, why? Every time. We did have him on Best Show, though, laughing for a long time. So
Holy. Oh, I should not have put on mascara. I didn't think I was going to be so funny today.
good one, Lauren.
So over time, though, they also begin to expand the amount of territory that they controlled around their settlements.
Good for them.
And so, according to legend, the native Slavs and Finns that they were ruling over rebelled against them in 862, forcing them to flee and return to Scandinavia. By which point, some of these people had been there for 100 years, intermingling with the local population.
That means having sex.
Intermingling.
Yes. That means making babies.
Let's just call a spade a spade. They were fucking a bunch of people.
Yes, they were fucking Slavish
Fucking
and
the
Finnish women.
locals.
I'm hoping consensually, but probably not.
Nah.
This is 750
And they're Vikings.
Vikings.
Raping and
I don't
pillaging.
think they were. Yeah, that's kind of in the job title.
I'm going to assume that a whole lot of it was not consensual. Some may have been retroactively granted consent as a method of maintaining
like-
sanity and survival.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you conquered this land, and I just gave birth to your baby, so
Okay, we're good.
okay.
Yeah, I'm
We're
okay with
fine.
that.
You'll be my quote-unquote husband.
Also, according to this legend, after the Rus left, the Finns and Slavic tribes began to fight amongst each other and themselves. So they sent emissaries to Scandinavia to find the Rus and invite them to come back and rule over them.
Come back! Come back!
We're killing each other. Come back and keep us from killing each other.
You'd
Yeah.
think that would be a simple thing to do, but apparently it's a lot harder than we thought.
They can't find anybody internally, so they have to go outside the organization. Come here,
Yeah.
lead us.
So once they were back in control, the Rus continued to expand their power and control across Eastern Europe. And after they conquered the Khazar Empire, they moved their capital to the Khazar capital, Kiev.
Isn't it just pronounced Tsar?
No, this is the Khazar.
No.
We don't have there is no Tsar yet. So when they moved their capital, they went from being the Novgorod Rus to the Kievan Rus, which is what they were known as during their golden period and early rule.
So begging for leadership to come back worked out for them?
Yeah. By the 12th century, they were completely assimilated into Slavic culture and left no lasting impact on the culture other than providing the ruling dynasty that created the country.
Really?
Yeah. Similar to what the Normans did in
Very hands-off
France.
approach. Nice.
Okay, all right.
So at the same time that all of this was happening, the Orthodox Church was sending missionaries north from Byzantium. And these monks...
Is that how you pronounce that?
Uh-huh.
Is it also pronounced...
Byzantine
Yeah.
is the adjectival form. So Byzantine Empire.
Okay.
If you're referring to it as a proper noun, it's Byzantium.
Ah. Interesting.
That was my head blowing up. That's
So-
like, what?
They were sending monks north, and in the 860s, 2 Byzantine monks translated the Bible into what would become Old Church Slavonic. They took what was basically the common Slavic tongue of the era and wrote it down, and that's what most Slavic churches' liturgies have been in ever since. Interestingly, Old Church Slavonic basically served as a lingua franca across much of Eastern Europe through the most of the Middle Ages and early pre-Soviet era.
Aaron's panicking.
I'm like, what the hell does that
Lingua
mean?
franca means universal language.
Oh, thank you.
It literally means French language
Oh.
because at the time the term was coined, French was the universal language of diplomacy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it English now? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
English is the de facto lingua franca.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. Erin's eyes just got really wide. She's like, someone explain this. It's true, but it's true. He needs to be called out on that because Dustin has a lot of vocabulary that we do not have.
Right. And one of the reasons why Dustin Off the Degree is better with people other than just me is so that I can get asked questions that the average listener might have.
That's why you have me on, because I'm
the average
dummy.
listener.
Maybe the average listener. I'll ask those not tough questions.
And so during that same decade, the first bishop was sent up to Novgorod. This was before they'd moved to Kiev. And the bishop would have followed the Rus to Kiev, most likely. Christianity spread quickly enough through the Rus that Princess Olga, who was the regent for her son from 945 to 960, was the first Christian ruler of the Rus.
I'm sure it was a beautiful name at the time.
I know.
Erin.
All I can think of is like a woman with huge boobs.
Anna?
And a Viking.
And a nose.
Like in a Viking hat and like
fake Viking hat.
And like, long blonde braids.
I picture it like a swimsuit top that's like fuzzy leopard print.
No.
Wearing like a see-through pink cover-up when she answers the door for the mailman.
Wait, this is taking a left turn to porn. So no.
Actually,
no, she wants it to be, but
it's not happening.
Never is happening. I'm sorry.
According to some legends, the mailman was the Byzantine emperor.
Oh.
The emperor wanted to marry her after her husband died, but she was not interested.
So she's just
like,
kept
I don't need a
ruling
man
on her own until her son took over?
Yep.
She's like, I don't need men.
Fuck the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Oh, except for my son here, who's now king.
Yep.
Well, maybe that's her only kid. And that's the way it works.
It was her grandson, Vladimir the Great, who several years later had to fight his way to the throne with the help of some Norwegian...
The Impaler.
No.
What made him so
great?
That
was Vlad the Impaler.
Oh.
Converting them to Christianity.
That's fucking great.
That got him the great.
That's so great.
So fucking great.
So
better than being fucked by a horse. Catherine the Great reference.
Oh, Lauren with your...
So
yes.
Vladimir the Great fought his way to the throne with the help of some Norwegian relatives. And then he tried to undo some of the Christianization of the Rus that had been going on, including at the hand of his grandmother. But his reforms turned out to not be popular, so he decided he needed to find a new monotheistic religion. And there are 3 stories of how he chose which one.
So, like, he didn't just make up his own? I thought he was great.
He was great by choosing the right God.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
or at least the right way to worship the one God.
He was like, let me pick from these 3 established.
Yeah, why does that not tip it off that it's all bullshit?
Right.
It's like, I get to choose.
All right, so we'll leave it up to the audience to pick, or not the audience, the cast. The cast to pick which one of these 3 stories is the legit one.
Ooh,
and which ones are bullshit.
Okay.
Right.
Go.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I got money on this. Go.
First one. He invited the surrounding religions to send emissaries to him and make their case for why he should pick them. He rejected Islam because of circumcision and the prohibition of alcohol and pork, saying drinking is the joy of the Rus.
Right on.
He then rejected Judaism because they had lost Jerusalem, which obviously meant God did not love them anymore.
Obviously. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
Right.
Christianity was the one that was left over.
So
he could drink. They had power. They had the second Rome, so obviously they had power.
And there was no cutting of foreskin, so that worked.
Unless you want to.
No, actually, at that point, Christians did not circumcise. That is a recent innovation, thanks to John Harvey Kellogg in the 1890s.
From Kellogg's cereal?
Yep.
What?
Well, the brother of the Kellogg cereal guy.
Oh.
But the guy who had originally created the bran flake.
What a small world.
I thought it would be funny if, like, not only did he give us cereal, he also gave us
foreskin flakes.
He did. He did.
John Harvey Kellogg is also one of 3 people who have possible claims to having been the inventor of peanut butter.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
I bet it was some lady and he just taken the credit.
Or a black guy.
I thought it was
Exactly.
George Washington Carver.
Yeah,
He
that's the
popularized it.
standard one.
I know he popularized it, but I'm not sure if he invented it.
Yeah, let's not say the rich white man did it,
Yeah, well,
because we know he
From
did
The
it.
rich white man who got off on getting people to stop masturbating.
From Jimmy Kellogg,
him.
circumcise your children so they don't masturbate. Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Ugh.
Circumcise boys so they don't masturbate. Give people bland food, like his original recipe of bran flake, which his brother, the marketing genius, tweaked by adding some sugar
Frosted
and
Flakes?
created not that much sugar,
No, that
but enough to make it palatable, and started the Kellogg Cereal Company. Or cornflakes, not bran flakes, sorry. Yeah, Jimmy, you're right. It was the original cornflake.
but not Frosted Flakes. That would be
That
ridiculous.
came later.
that would have
That'd
been
be
seen
so-
as an
but
abomination.
That's
I'm
too
sure.
much right away.
But
you ever-
everything Kellogg did
Yeah.
from peanut butter was supposed to be a way of having a bland food that provided protein, because meat would incite the senses, alcohol would incite the senses, well, dull your judgment. Caffeine would be exciting. Any spice or flavor would be exciting. Sugar would be exciting. And if people get excited, they'll have sex.
Well, I feel like
What is this guy's problem with sex and masturbation? Like,
Sin.
what? Okay,
Yeah.
let's just accept it.
yeah.
I don't need a reason why he's
Right.
wrong.
You can't
Well,
reason with the dead man.
I feel like Vladimir here made the wrong choice, because later on down the road, all the things that he liked went away.
But not in the Russian Orthodox Church.
Well, no, yes.
Those are all Protestant
Oh.
things, which are completely unrelated.
Fucking Protestants.
So anyway, the first version, we covered the first version of the story. The second is that he sent envoys out to study the religions and report back. The first went to the Muslim Bulgarians and found them to be joyless. The second went to Germany and found no beauty with the Catholics. And the third went to Constantinople during a religious festival and couldn't tell if he was in heaven or on earth.
I mean,
It was so beautiful and
Constantinople.
majestic and
I have heard
serene.
good things
What?
about Constantinople.
Yeah, what did they put in
Istanbul,
his
not
drink?
so much, but Constantinople apparently was pretty awesome.
I feel like he might have been on some drugs.
And the third version of how this happened was that in 988, the Byzantine emperor was losing a civil war and needed help. So he reached out to his enemy to the north, the Rus. Vladimir offered to help and convert to Christianity in exchange for being able to marry the emperor's sister, Anna.
Nice.
Bingo.
After
feel
they
like it's that
secured
one.
victory, he was baptized and then married Anna. And upon his return, he invited all the people to come down to the river and be baptized, and warned them, including his 12 sons that he already had,
Oh.
and warned them that failing to do so might make them his enemies.
Oh. I feel like it's that one. That one right there.
You wouldn't like me when we're enemies.
Okay, so pretty much he invited people to explain, he sent out people to explain, or it was a way to get laid.
Yep.
I think sex is a big key right there.
Ooh, I don't know though. I mean, that's pretty.
It just sounds
I
like
say all
that
three.
time.
It's like when my friend Stuart was the most outspoken atheist I'd met, did all the drugs, and just was a huge piece of shit. No, he was great, but in the eyes, we grow up Mormon together, and then he
like,
gets
"Oh,
into
fuck
his
you, Stuart, woo!"
and then he gets to his 30s, and then he gets a little lonely and goes back to church and gets married, and now he's in the
Do
temple
it for the
and all that
girl.
shit.
Yeah.
It's like so see-through. It's like,
Oh,
yeah, okay, I get it.
So those first two stories are almost definitely apocryphal. They create interesting quotes to use to justify the decision, when realistically he had to get help from Norway to secure the throne, because he couldn't get any support locally because his claim was that weak. His first big act was to turn the people back to the old pagan ways, and it backfired gloriously. So converting to Christianity would at least get the support of the people who hated him most.
It was a power move. I mean, I say sex, but really it was a power move. Like, we're going to marry so that I have this whole...
I'm sure he didn't.
Political.
Yeah.
He didn't need to get married for
Love.
womanly comfort.
Yeah.
He already had 12 sons.
Yeah.
He probably
Right.
had several
But,
wives already.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a complete political power move.
Yeah.
Yes.
So further,
That's what I was thinking the whole time.
Good for you.
and additionally, this marrying into the Byzantine imperial family, and by Byzantine, we're talking about the imperial family of the Roman Empire, like the same royal family dating back to Julius Caesar.
Who?
And marrying into that would help improve his royal credentials and ensure that his descendants would be the most royal, being descended from imperial blood.
The
My
most
kids
royal.
are the most royal.
More royal than his nieces and
Sounds like
nephews.
something Trump would say.
We're so royal, dude.
And on top of
most
all of
royal.
this, it would bring peace to his southern frontier after like 100, 150 years of warfare between the Rus and the Byzantine Empire. And that would allow him to be able to focus on those damn nomads that kept attacking from the east.
Ah, nomads.
So this was win-win-win no matter how you look at it. Obviously, he made the choice that was the obvious choice. And he figured out how to very smartly capitalize on it as much as possible. And so after that, everything was fine and grand for the next 100 years or so, enough so that it's been called the Kievan Rus Golden Age.
Okay, and what time period are you talking about?
At this point, we're in the 11th century.
Okay.
And this all started they started to have some problems with the decline of the Byzantine Empire and the Crusades weakening their economy to the point of a very deep recession.
Mm-hmm.
And the growing Rurik, that was what the dynasty was called, the Rurik dynasty, grew very large. Okay, Vladimir had 12 sons before he married Anna.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot of kids who probably all had lots and lots of kids.
Right.
Very large royal family, all with very royal blood.
They all fucked each other, didn't they?
They all split up.
Oh.
Oh.
So they ended up fracturing the Kievan Rus Empire. And by the time that fracturing was pretty much complete, those damn nomads from the east got the upper hand
Aha.
when the Mongols arrived in 1242, and all Rus principalities became subject to the Golden Horde.
I'm so lost.
Yeah. the
So
Golden
we've gone
Horde.
from Vikings to Mongols.
Okay.
And what this teaches us now, that initial battle was only like the first or second time that a Mongol army had been defeated.
Can you tell me about what the Golden Horde is?
It is the northwestern part of the Mongol Empire after it fractured after Genghis Khan's death.
Okay.
So Golden Horde is the name that Russian chroniclers gave it. It is not necessarily a name that they called themselves. And so it was probably the local nickname for them because they lived in yellow tents.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, and it was a Mongol horde
Mm-hmm.
ruling over them. Mongol and Turkic horde.
Golden Horde? Is that what?
Yeah, the Golden Horde.
Huh.
So that's what they end up being referred to generally in English language, any European language history, but that's not what they called themselves. That's not what they're called in Asia or the Middle East. But yeah, after Genghis Khan died, his sons and grandsons split up his empire. And lived on in many, many places for a very long time. Like the Mongols in India, when the British started conquering India, were the descendants of the Mongols. So yeah, the Mongols made quite the mark. And one of the Rurik princes of one of the Rus principalities that was under the jurisdiction of the Golden Horde figured out how to take advantage of all of this. And this was the Prince of Moscow. He ended up becoming the chief tax collector, basically, since the princes, they ruled day-to-day life, they collected taxes, and as long as the Golden Horde kept getting most of the gold, they were happy. Also, probably part of why they were called the Golden Horde is all they wanted was gold. They didn't care about land other than how much money that land was making them. And so eventually he got enough power to be able to unite a bunch of the principalities and pull off a successful rebellion, which started in 1380 and finished 100 years later. In 1299, the Metropolitan of Kiev, so that would have been the head of the Orthodox Church for Kiev and all the Rus, moved his headquarters from Kiev to Vladimir, and then in 1325, his successor moved headquarters to Moscow, which was very quickly becoming the most important city of the Rus. Then in 1439, the Metropolitan Isidore of the Russian Church, along with some bishops from the Byzantine Empire, attended the Council of Florence in Florence, Italy, and they agreed to recognize the primacy of the Pope and unify with the Roman Catholic Church. When Isidore took this back to the prince in Moscow, he was dismissed from his position, defrocked, and exiled from the Grand Duchy of Moscow. The position was left vacant for 7 years, at which time the Council of Russian Bishops elected a new Metropolitan of Kiev and all Russia. It had, by this point, changed from all Rus to all Russia, as Russia was finally starting to actually become a concept. And all of this was done without running any of it by the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople, the head of all Eastern Orthodox churches. Just 5 years later, Constantinople fell to the Ottomans. This left the church in Moscow independent. Not officially independent, but de facto independent. And while it was not yet the Russian Orthodox Church, it was well on its way to becoming that. Now, in response to this, a second church of Kiev and all Rus was created in 1458, and this new one was within the territory of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, and it continued to fall under the jurisdiction of the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople, while the effectively independent church in Moscow continued to be over the Orthodox Christians in the territory controlled by the Grand Duchy of Moscow. This is heavy. This is dense. Yeah. We have covered over 500 years of history.
Well, we're halfway there.
We are.
And this is why...
Tune into Dustin's other podcast, 500 Years of History.
So next week, we'll see how this unofficially independent church in Russia would become the Russian Orthodox Church of today. We still won't get to Russian Orthodox churches in the U.S. Turns out this is huge.
It's big. You busted open some...
Yes, Celia, when you asked me to explain the difference between normal Christians in America and the Russian Orthodox Christians, presumably in America, it's a big, big story.
Yeah.
And we will eventually get to the actual answer to your question.
Oh, someone asked this question? That's great. I'm glad.
So it's their fault.
Yep. Before we get to the news, though, if you want to support the show, go to atheistnomads.com/donate, and you can find out how.
Please donate.
All right, Aaron, you found an interesting show on Hulu.
Yes, I did. It's called Cults and Extreme Beliefs.
Sounds right up our alley.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it did start off with that NXIVM?
NXIVM, yeah.
NXIVM
I'm
was what
how
it's
do you
called.
pronounce that?
Yeah, because but basically it's a guy who wants to have sex with a bunch of ladies and take everybody's money.
Yeah.
Sounds par for the course for a cult.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And then also...
What was it that they were selling?
It was like a self-help group, and so it was supposed to be like how to improve, how to become better at business
like,
and
unlock
in life.
your potential.
Yeah.
Like kind
I
of
knew that stuff was a cult.
vague, very vague. It sounds like.
Well, and even got Kristen Bell of from Smallville.
Even God,
Not
you
Kristen,
say,
not Kristen Bell.
No, wrong one.
Yeah, wrong one.
Saved by the Bell.
No, her name is Allie Mack.
Allie Mack, that's right.
And
Yeah.
that's part of the. So there was a group of women who got
Right,
branded.
Kristen Bell was a different show
Yes. Yeah.
at the same time period.
Right.
I remember
Yeah.
reading about this, and then I watched that very first episode, and it was a lot more, I guess, interesting than I thought it was.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, oh, she just fell in with some weird sex cult guy. And then watching it, I was like, this is a lot more sinister and planned out than I ever thought
Right.
it was. It was like a pyramid scheme. So you had to sell and recruit different members to have sex with the guy. And
But she didn't know that.
no,
at the
not
time.
going in,
Yeah.
but it just eroded into this
Yeah.
thing.
Right. And then the brand, they were like, look at this brand. It happened to be the dude's initials and then Allie Mack's initials.
Oh,
So I did see that she's like out on bond for like $5 million or something like that.
right, because she and the guy went to prison, or
Well,
got
I
charged,
think
at
they're getting
least.
charged. Yes, they're charged.
Yeah.
I don't think he's out, but she's out right now. I think they're awaiting trial. But I actually heard about it on a comedy podcast because on Stop Podcasting Yourself, which is a Canadian podcast, because a comedian, he was like, yeah, I was in it for a little while
Oh, really?
because I was also on Smallville for a little bit. And and I like the thought of having potential and unlocking things so that I could, whatever.
we were all
reach the
brainwashed with
next-
that the whole all of growing up. You can do anything
Yeah.
if you just
Right.
Kylie, she doesn't want to read you a book right now.
But yeah, the weird thing or the interesting thing about this is that like it wasn't put your faith in God. It was like unlock your inner potential of like yourself,
Right.
which is really appealing if you're not really necessarily a believer in God. You're just like unlocking this.
I just imagine
This
a whole
thing.
bunch of stay-at-home moms with their little Etsy shops who are like, I could do better than this.
Yeah.
Like this is just one
Right. Sex
step
cult.
away from lip sense. Like
Right.
Yeah.
This is just an upper level of lip sense.
It
Yes.
is lip sense.
Yeah. Which I think the whole thing is like the woman they were interviewing, she was a businesswoman. And she's like, I was really good. I was really good at motivational speaking. I was really good at recruiting people. This was like right up my alley. And I felt like I was helping people. And then they had these like offshoots. So there's Nexium. And then there were these special women's groups. And the women's groups are supposed to be like female empowerment and all this stuff, which ended up being
while having
no.
sex with the head guy.
Well, exactly.
it just kind of fed into
Exactly. And this woman was like, I didn't realize it until after I got branded. Wasn't that the thing? She like got branded and then she's like,
It's like,
wait a minute,
whoa.
what is happening?
Like literally like hot metal to
Yeah.
skin branded.
Not
like a wood burner kind of thing.
yes. So she was like, when you think branded, you think like maybe just a stamp, but this wasn't. It was like a cauterizing tool, and just slowly. She said it lasted about 45 minutes.
Okay, anybody who
Yeah.
thinks branding would be a stamp
Well,
has
Well,
no
no.
idea what the
no,
like
right.
a single, like a cattle.
Like
Yeah, the cattle
like
brand
you
is
know,
done.
Oh.
thing.
I feel like a lot of people
This was
think
more
that.
like a tattoo, but
Yes.
burning.
Yes, and
so this was like going. Oh wow!
with a
Wood burning, like you said,
wood burning
that's-
tool, cauterizing tool.
Ooh.
And so she said she
And it
didn't
took
want
her
to.
that long.
Well, no, she said she didn't want to do it, but you're brainwashed at that point, and then you feel like you're supposed to. What had actually happened was it turned into a master slave thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Where you were convinced he was able to convince people that
Women,
the pain. Well, yeah,
Women.
mostly women. Was that the pain and the doubt and like you want to get out of there so hard? It's just part of the process, and that means you're doing it well. You're doing it right. If you want to get out, you're doing it right. Just stay and push through it.
Right.
We're so proud of you.
Yeah.
That's so sinister.
Also, then they wanted you to take nude photos, talk shit on people in a letter.
Collateral, yeah.
Collateral. So
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So she also was like, if I didn't do it, then they were going to release all this stuff. And she was an actress, or she is an actress. And so I
have a feeling that it was mostly like Hollywood celebrities, not the main celebrities, but the little offshoot celebrities, minor celebrities. Kylie, stop knocking the microphone over. That got hit the most.
Yeah.
Those women they're like barely working, and they need a little.
Well, Scientology targets the same people.
Well, that's exactly what
the same reason.
That's exactly what I thought, because that's the whole thing. You go in there with those stupid tin cans and you sit there and then you confess all this shit that you've done so that they can keep it on record so that you won't want to leave because you don't want all that shit spewed to everybody.
But the celebrities, those little minor celebrities, they actually did help recruit people. There's a woman on there that said she got interested in it because this celebrity,
that Ally Mac chick did it.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
so it works.
Huh.
Which is awesome that more and more people are calling out these celebrities for stuff like this. I think one of the Kardashians posted she was promoting a milkshake that helped her lose tons of weight after pregnancy. So she has this perfect pregnancy bod, pregnancy bod. Perfect model bod after her pregnancy,
right?
And a whole bunch of other celebrities were like dissing on her. They're like, no.
Yeah,
you have personal trainers.
Right.
You've been on, you've got counseling. You've got special nutritionists, dietitians.
I mean, you've got a lot of money.
Don't be selling this stupid shake claiming that you lost your pregnancy bod, which isn't a bad thing, by the way.
No.
And I was just like, bullshit.
Let's call these people out. So that was just the first episode.
Okay. Nebraska, South Dakota, and surrounding states have been dealing with devastating blizzards and floods.
Oh, the floods are awful.
Horrible, horrible, terrible. So in response, both states' governors have issued proclamations declaring April 7, the day that we're recording, to be a statewide day of prayer. The resolutions include the usual encouraging everybody to pray and give thanks to God.
Because thoughts and prayers.
No, this is worse than that. This is, God has buried and then flooded your home, so give him thanks.
Oh my God.
Because you're alive.
Are you sure it's give him thanks and not like ask him not to do this anymore?
That's never how they say it.
Nope.
Right.
It's always give thanks for what you have.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much
for taking all my
for
stuff.
Destroying my life. Don't we have a national or a day of prayer in Idaho?
I think.
Well, there's the national, which that's coming up.
There is national.
The first Thursday of May,
and they do celebrate.
So they're getting one a month early.
Oh, so they get two?
They get state ones and nationwide.
National.
Yeah, I mean national.
Why do they need another one?
Because of blizzards and floods.
Yep. It's flooding.
God has blessed them with all that weather.
It's flooding, and when they should be focusing on trying to do disaster relief efforts to actually help people, they want to take a break from that and pray. And thank God.
Well,
and thank God.
Need a diversity of tactics, I guess.
Like, the only thing that's actually meaningful in it is like the final afterthought in the proclamation, which is, and please donate any time and money that you have available to recovery efforts.
Yeah. You know what they should be looking at? Climate change.
Yeah. Except
what can we do?
These governors deny that climate change is happening.
Oh, of course they do.
How can guns fix climate change? Let's see if we can create.
Do you know one of the
actually? No joke. There was a day that everybody was supposed to turn their fans on, and it was supposed to help push. Let's see, the warm air away from Canada or something. It was some God. Fake Facebook thing, and it became a hashtag, and so people just started to get all over. There was like, turn on your fans at this direction at this time, and we'll blow the air away. It's like, God,
do you remember the Facebook thing for throw rocks at the sky because of the smoke?
Yes.
No.
Throw rocks at the smoke. That was a very popular.
Wasn't that last?
That was last summer.
Yeah, there was a whole like Facebook thing
That's fun.
across the Northwest because we had all that smoke. So it was like, all right, today we're going to throw rocks at the sky.
And you know what? It is still better than thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
at least you're doing something.
For sure.
At least
Yeah.
Hopefully
Yeah.
you're not damaging anybody's personal property.
I
but-
do like that the Idaho governor has said, yes, climate change is
Yeah.
a real thing.
Mhm.
But mainly because of the fires. That's why he's...
Okay, so this next one, Brittany Cara is a master neurolinguistic programming practitioner, hypnotherapist, and author. That's not what we're talking about her, but I do need to explain what neurolinguistic programming is. This is something that a psychologist thought of in the 70s, and it became popular with hypnotists exclusively. The concept is that with the right words, you can reprogram a person's brain to fix things like depression, anxiety, psychological breaks, and psychotic episodes, suicidal thoughts, allergies, and colds.
Kind
In
of
one-
I was
You had
kind of
them.
with you.
In
You had
one
them until those
session.
last two.
Oh, in
Yeah.
one session?
One session.
Because I was
Oh.
going to say, like, I do EMDR, and that's supposed to reprogram your brain, but that's not a one session, nor
Yeah.
is it to help my immune system.
Yeah.
Like, cognitive behavioral therapy is trying to reprogram your brain
Yeah.
through talk
Yeah.
Right.
over a very long period
Right.
of time, because it's something that requires a lot of work
Yeah.
and a lot of time,
Yeah.
not a single session.
I mean, if that was the case, I'd love that.
You know who would really love it if that worked? Insurance companies.
Oh, yeah.
Pay for one session and you're done.
Oh, God, they'd love that. Yeah, you're right.
So obviously it's complete and utter bullshit.
It's like snake
Yeah.
oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. It's a cure-all.
Yeah.
It's a psychological cure-all.
Well, is this like, do people actually do this still? I see maybe, I hear these radio commercials for like a 1-day seminar, quit smoking and all these different things. Like,
I would not be surprised if that is a part of it.
yeah.
No, people still do it because you make the big bold claims,
Right.
and it's a lot of times it's the hypnotists that are doing it. So it's one of the things that they will offer. It's one time. If it works, and if the person's symptoms resolve on their own, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
If it doesn't,
Confirmation.
they've already got their money.
Right.
Right.
Well, so Jimmy just said hypnotism is pretty popular, but I believe that's also multiple sessions too.
All depends on what it is.
Yeah. I mean, because I've heard of people going to somebody who will put them under, but it won't just be a one-time thing to get your repressed memories.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it's
know.
repressed memories. It's
Or-
more retraining the brain to think certain way about your target. So like food, you don't say, okay, it's not that you want to just eat less food, because that's
Right.
not how your body works.
No.
But say you become more attracted to more colorful food.
Okay.
So you want green, red,
Right.
yellow, orange in your diet, and you'll find yourself being drawn to produce more.
Right.
It's really limited. It can work. You have to be the type of person that it will work for.
Right.
It does wear off
Yeah.
because old habits die hard.
Right.
And repressed memories are actually just new memories that you're creating at
Yeah.
that time.
I mean, I think the best way someone explained PTSD was in the brain was saying that my like pathways were damaged and that it was just a negative pathway, and that you just have to keep telling yourself over and over again the positive so that it's not.
Yeah, I definitely believe in the idea that the words we say can physically alter your brain, either chemistry or like the wiring. I definitely believe that for sure.
Oh, it's the whole basis of psychology.
Yeah.
Right.
Some of which is bullshit, a lot isn't.
Yeah.
And the power of suggestion is pretty potent.
Right. And medication is okay.
Yes. Now, like
I want to say that because
Speaking of which,
and one thing that's interesting with the with hypnotism is when it's used, one of the more common uses for it is to try to help people quit smoking.
Mhm.
sure.
It has been studied pretty well for that. it is less effective than the FDA-approved smoking cessation methods, which also don't work.
I mean, I'm taking an antidepressant that also is used to get people to quit smoking.
Yeah.
And
Wellbutrin.
Yeah, Wellbutrin. And I've noticed that it has really helped me with my binge eating problem.
Oh, nice.
I don't have it anymore. I mean, that's a lie. That's a lie. But it's not as much. Like when I get really depressed, yeah, I used to do a lot of binge eating. I have a joke about that.
Let's get a
Okay.
pizza.
Let's get
Let's get a pizza.
Okay, so the reason we're talking about Brittany Cara is hypnotist and bullshit peddler. She's also an anti-vaxxer.
Oh, the worst.
So she has a novel theory for why vaccines are bad.
I bet she does.
And let's listen.
There's nothing in the Bible that talks about vaccines. If God knew in the future that he was going to help create these amazing things that were going to just change our health and be the best, scientific advancement, it's just, oh my gosh, they're so great. Like, why isn't there any inkling of talk about these things called vaccinations coming into being later to save people?
Fuck that lady.
Also,
Fuck her.
is that music, like, did she put that music?
No, this was...
She's got a boombox on her left shoulder.
I got this from Dead State, who got it from The Real Truther on Facebook that edited her video and reposted it on Facebook, added in music and little clips of... Well, that's just bullshit.
Yeah.
And also a list of all the other things that aren't in the Bible.
Right. I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, there's a lot of things that weren't in the Bible.
I have a joke legit in my act where, you'd think if that book could predict the future, they'd mention something about the internet. Because that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Right. So she was sharing this. It looked like she was recording the video on an iPhone.
Mm-hmm. Like in her car?
Apple computers and Apples in general aren't referred to in the Bible. She posted it to Facebook, which is not in the Bible, using the internet, which is not in the Bible.
Yeah.
And probably did it over a cellular connection, which involves radio waves, which are not mentioned in the Bible. It's all powered by electricity, which is not in the Bible.
Yeah.
Antibiotics aren't in the Bible.
Or vaccines. To be fair, they're not in the Bible.
Or internal combustion engines or anything else that was invented after the time the book was written.
Is the Bible mentioned in the Bible?
Indirectly.
Okay.
There is a passage that says that all scripture is God-breathed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I tell you, when I was Mormon, the bishop, to convince me, at one point, he was like, Aaron, the temple in Salt Lake had elevator shafts, and they didn't know what elevators were. They just knew that was God's plan to put them in so that they would later become elevators. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense, though. Right. Cool.
Oh, man.
Except there were elevators then.
Well, I'm not saying that bishops are smart or anything.
Yeah.
Or teenagers.
Elevators at that time weren't electrically powered, but they existed.
Did you have to pull a rope and pull yourself up?
Well, it was like a weighted thing. Yeah, probably.
Most likely there'd be a black person in the elevator pulling a rope for you.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it made sense.
We're talking the 1800s.
Right.
And they wouldn't have built those in Utah because wouldn't have had a need for it because they wouldn't have had any black people to pull the cord to raise the elevator.
They made the shafts, Dustin, without the knowledge. So that must mean the church is true.
Yeah. Well, they knew eventually they'd get some black people out there.
That's so bad. Oh, gosh.
Oh,
But I just want to say, people are dumb and gullible. So I get it. I get how people are like, yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had some Jehovah's Witness actually come to the house the other day, and they were like, something about how, back in Bible times, they had medicine. It's like they had aspirin or some shit like that. And
Well,
it's like, see, how could
Yeah.
they know?
But aspirin comes from a tree, so of course we've always
I know.
had it.
It was like so like,
But I see what you're saying. Yeah.
just like, look here.
Well,
There's this.
Aspirin isn't mentioned in the Bible.
I don't know if it was aspirin or
But
what.
yeah, there was medicine of the time.
Yeah.
People have always used whatever they could find that either appeared to have some kind of an effect. In some cases, it was actually effective, or at least didn't kill people faster than the disease they were trying to use it to
Right.
treat.
Sure.
Mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mud and
Putting
blood.
mud
Mud?
on a blind person's eyes. That's in the Bible.
Oh, really?
Jesus did that and cured his blindness.
Look at me. I don't know what I'm saying, but apparently it's been in the Bible.
Well, yeah. Who do you think wrote the Bible?
And Jesus spit.
People that don't know what they're saying.
Jesus spit was the magic recipe ingredient.
Jesus spit.
Yep. It can't just be normal mud. It has to be Jesus spit powered mud.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe that's what they were talking about, but it was like, it was so just arbitrary.
Right.
Like, they had medicine, therefore I'm Jehovah's Witness. So it was interesting. They weren't very good at what they were doing.
So ancient people, as it turns out, weren't stupid.
Right. For
They
their time.
just didn't have access to all the information that we have now.
Right.
For sure. Yeah.
Because they didn't have
Yeah.
the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we needed to go through that. It was like compounding
Yeah.
knowledge.
Knowledge
like,
is cumulative,
Right.
and it took time to get to the point of antibiotics. For example, we had to know about germs before we could do antibiotics.
Right.
And vaccines, it just so happened that they were able to discover
Right.
that people who got cowpox didn't get smallpox. That's an amazing discovery.
Yeah.
That could have happened earlier.
Right.
It didn't.
I mean, my argument is vaccines have saved more people than killed people, right? I mean, that's a good
By the millions, at
Yeah.
least. Smallpox alone.
I mean, and used to eradicate things, but now they're back.
All right, so Representative Jared Hoffman is one of the founders of the Congressional Free Thought Caucus, and in a 2017 interview with the Washington Post, he identified as a humanist with a small h. But he continued to be listed in official congressional records as, quote, refused to answer, unquote, on the religion question. He has now updated the record with humanist, meaning that we now have one openly non-religious person in the House, and we have one in the Senate.
Cool. That's cool.
There should be more.
There should be. And I bet there
are.
is.
That was cool.
That's cool.
No, realistically, the 17 or however many there are who refuse to answer the question
Right.
probably are non-religious.
Right.
They just don't want to be on record as non-religious.
Yeah, of course not. Because that's hard to come out.
And the 2 or 3 that are UU are probably also not
yeah.
religious.
Well, yeah, we're not
Not
religious.
conventionally religious.
Yeah, we're not religious. I don't know why I say we. I never like to go to church. My parents are making me go, though.
It's your heritage,
Yeah, it is.
Just going weird on this next one. A Catholic parish in northern Poland hosted a rather unconventional gathering.
Ooh.
The priests encouraged members to clear their homes of objects that contained evil forces and bring them to the church for a bonfire. On the list of items that were seen in the video that was posted to a Catholic Foundation's Facebook page are at least a African wooden mask, a Buddha figurine, elephant figurine, books on personality and magic, including Harry Potter.
Personality
Uh-huh.
and magic.
Yep.
Magic.
Like, are we talking
I can-
self-help?
What's
Probably self-help,
personality?
some psychology stuff. Yeah, that's all evil.
Huh.
Wow. And where was this?
Poland.
Poland. Okay.
Poland.
Harry Potter.
Which a upcoming Dustin Off the Degree, after we get through the Eastern Orthodox stuff, we will have to cover why Poland is Catholic.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. I mean, that'll be interesting. I mean, that's going to be so interesting.
The answer is the Crusades.
Oh, let's talk about the Crusades. I want to talk about that.
Wait, so is it the Catholic Church that is that is like having this bonfire there?
Yeah.
So that's a position of the Catholic Church.
Right. So the Catholic Church in Poland has been making a big deal, condemning Harry Potter as promoting sorcery.
Mm-hmm.
So realistically, the priests have probably been talking for years, probably going on 15, 20 years now, about how evil Harry Potter is. And then they say, hey, bring all of the evil from your home here. We will burn it up.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather them do that than sexually assault and molest children. So, I mean,
It's
talk
true.
about Harry Potter all day, guys. Do it.
If that's the bar we're setting.
Yeah, exactly. Fine, let's burn some Harry Potter books. That's great. Let's
Burning Harry Potter is better than fucking children.
Yes. Or keeping nuns as sex slaves, you know?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Hey, this was a relatively light story for the Catholic Church.
Yes, it is. I'm proud of you, Catholic Church, for
doing something as light as a Nazi-style book burning.
Yeah. We're plotting a book burning. That's like,
This is where the world has gone.
right. Oh, goodness.
as long as they're burning books, they're not fucking kids.
Right.
So keep them occupied.
Not necessarily.
I know, damn
That
it.
could just be to distract people from kitty fucking that's
right,
going
exactly.
on inside.
Maybe it's all a big conspiracy, and they're almost on to us on this one. Let's do book burning.
Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Literally smoke, and then they have the kid get in front of the mirror.
Oh, God. Maybe Harry Potter is making the children too empowered.
Oh.
What are you going to do with that wand?
Okay, we have gone
off the rails.
All right, so now we've got a Florida man story.
I love it.
Pensacola Satanist was arrested and charged with trespassing and resisting arrest in February 2018 for his protest of the Christian prayer that was happening immediately before the opening of the Emerald Coast Utilities Authority board meeting in Pensacola, Florida. His protest was trying to lead everybody in reciting the Lord's Prayer. It would seem like if you're protesting a Christian prayer with trying to get everybody to overwhelm it with a Christian prayer, how is that an effective protest?
Yeah, wait, I'm confused.
Okay, so
Yeah, I am too.
What happened? Say that again.
So he had been protesting for quite a while, and this particular day he tried to lead the audience at this board meeting in reciting the Lord's Prayer while one of the board members was trying to lead the group in a prayer.
wait, so the Satanist was trying to lead a Christian prayer over another prayer?
Was he just obstructing the meeting? Or
Basically, yeah. So one of the board members got really pissed off at him, ordered him to stop and leave. He refused to leave, so she had the sheriff arrest him and haul him off. And he was charged with trespassing and resisting arrest.
But was it an open public meeting? It must have been if you...
Immediately afterwards it was.
Oh. But he was, I mean...
I think
So
once
they
they
were-
asked him to leave, then it became trespassing, right?
Well, that's how the first judge ruled it.
Right.
The first judge ruled that it was trespassing. He waived his right to a trial,
Okay.
for one.
Yeah.
But the first judge ruled that he was ordered to leave. He did not comply with that order, so he was trespassing, and he should not have resisted arrest. Nonviolent resisting arrest, that should be noted. Which basically just means he wasn't cooperating with the arrest. He appealed this, and he won the appeal because the appeals court found that he was not properly issued a no trespass order.
Oh.
And he also has a right to nonviolently resist an unlawful arrest. Since he hadn't committed any crime, he should not have been arrested.
Oh.
Okay. That makes sense.
Saying leave, please leave, is not a no trespass order.
Okay.
A no trespass order is something that should be in writing, and it has to specify that if you return to the premises or if you stay on the premises, this will be considered criminal trespass, and the police will be called.
Okay. Yeah.
I am aware of this because I had to file a no trespass order against my stalker when I was in Everett.
What? You had a stalker?
Yeah.
Oh, why don't we talk about that?
We can talk about that in the post show.
Yeah, let's do it. I've never had a stalker that I know of.
It's not pleasant.
I'm sure it's not.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. See, everybody, you could hear about Dustin's stalker if you become a patron.
At the $2 level or higher.
Yeah. See what you're missing?
Okay, so this guy was trying to pray over somebody else.
Uh-huh. As part of a Satanist protest.
That's so weird.
But it was a
Of Christian prayers.
prayer.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, my first thought was maybe he wanted to be allowed to lead this prayer so that he could, I don't know, satirize it or something. Or, like, I don't know, some kind of... They wouldn't even let him lead the prayer, right? Somebody else was doing it?
He had already done a invocation at the Pensacola City Council the year before. Or 2 years before. This board did not invite or allow outsiders to lead prayers, and it was not officially a part of the meeting.
Oh.
Okay.
It was the board members gathering in the chamber as everybody else is gathering, praying, and then hit the gavel to open the meeting.
Okay.
Which is ridiculous.
Prayer before anything public is dumb.
Especially, and if you're trying to say that because we haven't hit the gavel yet,
Yeah.
the meeting hasn't started.
Right.
If it's the officials using the PA system to communicate with something with the gathered people for the meeting,
Yeah.
that's the meeting.
Right.
Well, it's like a loophole.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
a technicality or whatever. They kind of found a way around it. But I wonder if that guy disrupting, if he's just like, he's doing that like he's mocking the prayer. He's like, "Dear Heavenly Father."
Yeah. That's probably what he was doing.
Yeah.
Regardless of how he was doing it, his protest was the most aggravating way he could think of to protest.
Right.
Yeah. Throwing their own words back at him.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we have some feedback. We got a message from Alex C. via SpeakPipe.
Hello, everyone at Atheist Snowman. I'm a black, mid-50s, retired military atheist, a guy who will blow up all your demographics.
Definitely.
I just want to call and introduce something that hopefully people will start taking to heart and using. SQW, Status Quo Warriors. This is for the people who are anti-feminist, racist, and basically who do not want the status to change. Could it be applied to atheists, theists, anyone who basically figure, hey, it's good. Whatever it is, it's good. And they're derived in SJW. I think we should start using SQW to encompass all the people who just want to stop moving forward. I think it's a good, moniker. You could use it. I don't know if I came up with it first. I thought of it about last week. So if you see reference to it earlier than me suggesting it, please give whoever the credit. Thank you.
What do you think? SQW?
I think that it's futile. It's never going to catch on. If we're thinking logistically, I don't think you can make a word catch on just by I don't know. Do you think it would catch on? I think changing anything, any kind of, if you're trying to, I guess it has to start somewhere, but, I don't know.
SJW started somewhere.
Yeah.
One area where I see it as being unlikely is SJW is a insult conservatives use to try to shut down progressives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hello, my name is Erin. I have no idea what you're talking about right now, but if you would like to inform me, that'd be great. This is why I'm on this program.
But that's all it's for. Is you want social justice. You're just an SJW.
Oh.
It's dismissive.
Okay.
So the idea is to create a dismissive equivalent for racist, sexist assholes.
Right.
Oh, okay. I thought he was trying to change SJW.
No, this is to...
No, it's to counter.
Oh, it's counter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For the status quo warriors of the...
Status quo. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I still don't think it'll catch on.
I think part of why is the people who would be using it tend to actually try to take the high road.
Yeah.
And argue on points and principles and not just insults.
Right.
Well, it seems reactionary, too, which is the conservative kind of reactionary mindset to take whatever we're doing and spin it and throw it back at us because, that's easier than coming up with a new thing.
Right. In 2016, fake news meant articles that were being written that were fake. In 2017, fake news became known as anything critical of Trump.
Right.
He killed the term by taking it over.
Genius.
That happens all the time.
So if this did get used, if SQW got thrown back at people who would call progressives on the internet SJWs, it could have the effect of stopping the SJW term from being thrown out as an insult. It could potentially... Jimmy says they'd wear it as a badge. That's also quite possible.
Yeah. They do like to wear badges.
Yeah. It's an interesting idea. Listeners, if you want to try this out, let us know how it works.
Yeah.
SQW.
I'll
throw it around.
I don't.
SQW.
Why not try? SQW.
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 Status quo warrior.
All right. I'm on board.
You do it.
I'll do it. I'll do it tonight and see how it goes at the show.
Yeah.
All right. And from Jimmy via email. Hey, everyone. This email is mostly to say hi, and I wanted to make sure everything is okay. Dustin sounded pretty aggravated after recording episode 296. I wasn't sure if that was just because of the interview or if something is bothering you guys. Looking forward to the next recording, but you guys know where to find me if you need to talk something out. Just want to keep my favorite podcast hosts around for a while. Take care of yourselves, Jimmy Nine Toes. Yes, I was quite aggravated with that. I was not expecting the interview to go the way it did. I was not expecting to stop the interview and have to throw together an episode at the last minute. So that was less than fun. That was aggravating.
Which episode was this?
This was when you were at Treefort.
At Treefort? Okay. Here's the thing that I wish I could have done, because I was around some comedy people. I wish I could have just pulled somebody and had them come on.
Oh, you should have done that.
I know.
That would have been smart.
I know.
So we got Gary. There was some added aggravation with Lauren's been having a harder time being on the show because of Kylie. Kylie.
Speaking of which, I'm back. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Kylie needs a lot of interaction.
She does.
Which is good. It's normal, healthy.
Right.
She's also quite clingy at this point.
Normal, healthy baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's adding some aggravation around recording. And there's also the added bit of, I hate my job and I'm trying to find a new job.
Yeah.
And the job hunt has been very stressful.
Right.
There was one that got really promising, 3 interviews, last one being almost 3 hours long. And I got the rejection letter Friday.
Yeah.
So continuing the search.
Yeah.
Got a new promising lead, but it is unsettling to not know if you're going to get that new job. And especially considering my job search is across the entire Northwest. It's also unsettling to not know for sure where we're going to live in a month.
Right. I mean, new job, if you move, those are all very big stressors.
Yeah.
So.
Jimmy said, to be fair, I would still like to listen to that audio. Yeah, I'll throw it up for patrons. I saved it. So Yeah, I'll throw that up for patrons. It's a little bonus.
Cool.
Yeah, and for support, we have another message from Alex.
Hello, everyone at Atheist Snowman. I'm Alex C. I'm just calling to tell you that I donated $50 because I feel that you guys are doing a great job over a long period of time. I am a SJW, and I just wanted to let you know, the people who basically don't like us, or basically feminists who don't like feminists, and in the atheist community thought they was doing a good thing getting rid of those pesky feminists in SJW, but they also forget to get rid of a lot of their allies. And I haven't been given any money, namely time or treasure, to any atheist organization and skeptical organization probably past 5 years. So this is my re-entry into activists, and you guys are the first. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
So the shitlords, as they're called, they were mostly a YouTube phenomenon.
Okay.
There was some in the blogosphere, and yeah, that all started about 5 years ago. We kept completely out of it.
Yeah.
A lot of the podcast space just kept out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't worth trying to get in the middle of some of those fights, because at the beginning it was not necessarily obvious where it was going to go, and then and both sides were getting very reactionary.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, half of that space ended up turning out to be a bunch of racist, sexist assholes. But yeah, so if that was most of your exposure to online atheism, then yeah, that would have been very discouraging. Fortunately, some of us
we're here.
never went that way, and I would actually say most have not gone that way. Just the YouTube space.
Yeah. Dumb YouTubers.
And so anyway, that's it for this week. Casey, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me back.
Aaron, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And what do you have to plug?
Oh, well, Jimmy, hey. So what do I have to plug? What do you have to plug? I mean, we have something tonight, but you're all going to miss it.
But and the next Sunday night, right?
No, not next Sunday. It's going to be the 20... Oh, crap. Edge Brewing on the 28th of April.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, I won't be there, but Casey's going to host.
I'm gonna be hosting that. But it's still perfect.
Yeah.
April 28th is my birthday.
Perfect.
I was wanting to eat at Edge for my birthday.
Great. Well,
so that works.
You'll be able to see Casey hosting and Beth Norton, another past guest, featuring. So
okay.
I happen to be in Portland.
All right.
What do you have?
Also the 27th of April, which is that Saturday. I've got a going away party show for Mikey Pullman at Woodland Empire. So check that out. Yeah. I don't know if you can get tickets. I don't know if he's actually started advertising it yet, but pay attention to that. Mikey's leaving to Seattle. And so having a bunch of his favorite comics raise money for him to move to Seattle, which
for them.
For them. Mm-hmm. Yes. And so that's going to be a good time. Yeah. So Saturday, and then that Sunday, we'll be hosting the Edge thing. So that'll be a good weekend.
Nice.
Yeah. Thanks for doing that, by the way.
Yeah, no problem.
And listeners, remember, not all those who wander are lost. Thank you for listening to another episode of Atheist Nomads. You can find show notes and contact information at atheistnomads.com. Follow us on Twitter at Atheist Nomads, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Atheist Nomads. Please subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or your podcatcher of choice, and while you're there, feel free to leave us a review. Theme music is courtesy of Sturdy Fred. Until next time, this has been the Atheist Nomads.